Welcome to the Ultimate General Hospital channel, where every secret explodes, every betrayal changes lives, and every shocking twist keeps Port Charles on edge. From unexpected returns and heartbreaking goodbyes to dangerous romances and family feuds, we bring you the latest GH spoilers, theories, and drama. Subscribe now and step into the world where no secret stays buried and every episode changes everything. Right now, the story unfolding around Britt and her mother Liesl has me absolutely captivated, and I cannot help but share my thoughts as someone who has rooted for these strong women through every heartbreak and triumph. The latest developments with Britt being held in prison and questioned by Agent Vaughn about that cold fusion project have me on the edge of my seat. Britt has always been such a complicated character, brilliant in her field, but often caught in circumstances that force her hand. She insists she was coerced into the project, and from everything I have seen over the years, I believe her. The evidence is there in how she carries herself during these interrogations. There is a genuine fear in her eyes, not just for herself, but for the people she loves. Yet the legal troubles she faces feel so overwhelming, like the walls are closing in tighter with every episode. I keep wondering, how does a woman with her medical expertise end up in this kind of mess? The show does such a masterful job showing how one decision, even made under pressure, can ripple out into serious consequences. It reminds me of those classic General Hospital arcs where brilliant minds get tangled in corporate or scientific intrigue, and the personal cost is always sky high. Then comes Liesl Obrecht's visit to her daughter, and oh, my heart just aches watching that mother-daughter dynamic play out. Liesl has always been fiercely protective, sometimes to a fault, and scolding Britt for hiding so many secrets feels true to who she is. What really got to me is that Liesl still does not know about Cassius's death at this point. The layers of secrecy between them are heartbreaking, but they also speak to the deep love that binds them even through the worst storms. I have seen Liesl evolve from a more villainous figure to this complicated protector, and her actions now feel like they are escalating in the most intense way. She is pulling strings, making moves to get Britt out of trouble, and it is clear her controlling nature is reaching new heights. Is it love, or is it obsession? I think it is both, and that complexity is what makes these scenes so compelling. As a longtime viewer, I appreciate how the show lets us see the flaws in these characters without making us turn away from them. One of the most surprising revelations coming out of Liesl's efforts is the information that Britt does not actually have Huntington's disease. This changes everything we thought we knew about Britt's health struggles and her future. It is the kind of bombshell that General Hospital delivers so well, upending years of built-up tension and opening doors to new story possibilities. I found myself cheering quietly when this came out, because Britt has endured so much already. It proves that the troubles she faces now are shifting, moving away from her own body betraying her toward external threats that demand she fight even harder. Liesl bringing this truth forward while trying to rescue her daughter feels like a turning point. It shows how a mother's determination can uncover truths that doctors and tests might have missed or hidden. I have my own opinion here. Sometimes the show stretches medical plausibility, but in this case it works because it humanizes Britt and gives her a fresh start amid the chaos. Of course, the real emotional gut punch comes when Britt and Liesl finally make their way back to Port Charles. Facing the news of Cassius's death after everything they have been through is devastating. Cassius had become such a central figure in the dangers swirling around them, and learning he is gone forces everyone to reassess what they thought they knew. I love how the writers tie this into the bigger picture, with Z and Jocelyn agreeing that Cassius was at the root of so much of the danger. It brings a sense of closure to one chapter while immediately igniting new conflicts. Z and Jocelyn are young and headstrong, and seeing them align on this feels right. They have grown so much, facing threats that would break lesser characters, and their perspective adds a fresh layer to the veteran storylines involving Britt and Liesl. What fascinates me most is how this new obsession is taking hold, fueling the mission that Britt and Liesl are on. It is exploding in ways that keep me guessing from one episode to the next. The dangers are not just legal anymore. They are personal, emotional, and tied to the very heart of Port Charles. I keep asking myself, will this obsession lead them to justice or to even darker places? The show answers these questions quickly enough to satisfy, but leaves enough threads dangling to make me eager for tomorrow's episode. That balance is pure General Hospital magic. As someone who has watched through countless eras, I can say confidently that these current arcs feel different from the original paths we saw years ago. Back then, Britt's story was more about romance and rivalry, but now it has deepened into something richer, exploring legacy, truth, and redemption in a way that resonates strongly with me at my age. Let me share a personal thought here. I sometimes disagree with how the writers handle family secrets. There are moments when I wish Liesl would just sit down and have an honest conversation instead of scheming, but that is what makes the drama so addictive. It mirrors real life, where love and control get tangled up, and we all make mistakes, trying to protect our own. The evidence is in the performances. The actors bring such authenticity to these scenes that even when the plot stretches, it feels earned. Britt's resilience in the face of prison interrogation and health revelations shows growth that longtime fans like me can celebrate. Liesl's escalating efforts to save her daughter, even as new troubles mount, highlight the show's strength in portraying unbreakable maternal bonds. Looking ahead, I cannot help but feel the heat building. With Britt and Liesl back in Port Charles confronting Cassius's death, and this shared obsession driving their next moves, there is so much potential for explosive confrontations and heartfelt reunions. Will they find allies in Z and Jocelyn, or will old rivalries resurface? The way the story is building, it feels like every character is connected in this web of danger and discovery. I am particularly excited to see how the Cold Fusion project ties back into larger threats, perhaps corporate espionage or scientific ethics gone wrong. These elements keep the show feeling relevant and thrilling, even after all these years. One thing I truly appreciate is how the writers avoid making these women helpless. Britt is fighting her legal battles with intelligence and spirit, while Liesl brings that formidable energy we have come to expect. Their journey together is proving that family can be both a source of strength and complication. It makes me reflect on my own life, watching loved ones navigate challenges, and I find comfort in seeing these characters push forward. The new riffs and revelations around Cassius's role add such depth, proving that what we thought was the cause of danger might have been only part of a bigger puzzle. As I sit here thinking about the upcoming episodes, I am filled with anticipation. The mission for Britt and Liesl is growing more intense, their obsession fueling bold decisions that could change lives in Port Charles forever. Questions about trust, truth, and second chances hang in the air, and the show resolves them in ways that surprise and satisfy. It is this sense of constant momentum that has kept me loyal for so long. Britt deserves happiness after everything, and seeing Liesl fight so hard for her reminds me why I fell in love with this soap in the first place. There is something special about these storylines that blend science, suspense, and heartfelt emotion. The Cold Fusion angle brings a modern touch, while the family drama stays timeless. I have my theories. Maybe Cassius's death will reveal hidden alliances or betrayals we never saw coming, but I trust the writers to deliver something memorable. For fans like me, who have invested years into these characters, moments like Britt learning about her health and reuniting with her mother feel profoundly moving. It is not just entertainment, it is a reminder of resilience and the power of love to drive us through the darkest times. The tensions with Agent Vaughn and the legal shadows over Britt keep the stakes high, making every scene crackle with possibility. Liesl's visit, though tense, plants seeds for reconciliation and new strategies. Returning to Port Charles amid news of Cassius's death and the consensus from Z and Jocelyn feels like stepping into a powder keg. This new obsession they share is the spark that could light up the screen in the episodes ahead. I find myself smiling at the thought because General Hospital has a way of turning pain into progress, secrets into strength. In my view, these developments set Britt and Liesl apart from their earlier stories. The original plots focused more on immediate threats and romances, but now there is this rich exploration of legacy and healing that feels more mature and satisfying. It proves the show continues to evolve while honoring its roots. I encourage every fan to pay close attention because the heat is on, and the revelations waiting for us are bound to be unforgettable. Britt and Liesl's bond, tested and strengthened through these trials, is one of the most compelling parts of the canvas right now. There is so much more I could say, But every time I think about the next chapter, my excitement grows. The dangers exploding around their mission, the truths uncovered, and the alliances forming all point to riveting television. As a devoted viewer who has laughed, cried, and gasped with these characters for years, I am grateful for stories that still surprise and touch the heart. Port Charles never disappoints, and this current arc with Britt, Liesl, and the echoes of Cassius's influence is no exception. I will be right here, watching faithfully, ready for whatever comes next, because the journey is always worth it.